Hey guys, welcome back to Biggie's Tavern. The soldering station's out, and that can only mean one thing. It's time to add the cabinet speaker, and we're gonna do it in today's video. Well, you can see I've already made some wiring harnesses. I'm not gonna cover most of that in today's video, so if you need help making the wiring harness for the cabinet speaker, you can refer back to part 1 of the series. The only thing that's really different is we had to get one of these Molex KK 2-position connectors from Marco. One of these guys here. I'll put the part in the description. But basically that's the part that plugs into the CPU board. And on the other end, we've got one of the Molex Minifit Juniors, just like we used for the other speakers in the back box. So that part's pretty straightforward. I made a part that goes from the board down to like another breakout that goes down into the cabinet, which is then going to connect to this piece, which is going to get soldered onto the speaker. The only other things that are going to be different, we're going to use these flat washers to connect this terminal to a ground wire to the ground braid that's in the bottom of the cabinet, so we can connect that to the speaker to eliminate RF interference. Other than that, this is going to be pretty straightforward. Quite a bit easier actually than the back box speakers, because we don't have to make any kind of custom mounting brackets or anything. It's already got a spot to mount the speaker. So let's crack the thing open and get started. All right, so I got to take the glass off. You've probably seen me do this before, but open the coin door, and there's those suitcase style latches that are holding the lockdown bar on. So now I can pull the lockdown bar off. Now I can pull the glass off. Slide that down a little bit. And go get my gloves so I don't get this dirty. All right, I pulled the glass off. Set it down against my nice soft mat, not the concrete floor, because we don't want that to explode. Now, don't forget to take the balls out before we lift the playfield. So, in case you forgot, you can eject the balls from the service menu. Okay, so this button to get into the service menu. Then we're gonna hit the volume up button to go down to device tests, ball trough test, and hit menu to eject the ball. Grab it. There's one up here already. Pull that out. Do that for the other 2 balls. Now before I lift the playfield, it's important to turn this machine off. So I'm going to close the coin door back up, and we're going to come and turn it off. Don't want to get zapped. Loosen this bolt that's holding the playfield in place. Right, before I lift this up, I'm going to plug that connector in and drop it down so that it's already in there. I don't have to worry about it. So this wiring harness I made has a little ramp on it. You can see the red wire goes on the left, black wire goes on the right. That's going to plug in right up here next to the connector for the back box speakers. In CN1, the red wire is going to face the left. There we go. I'm going to connect the other end to the other wiring harness that I made. And then I can drop that down in this hole in the back box. Okay, with the playfield pulled out a little bit, I can better see what I'm doing. Pull this down into that hole. Ideally that would get wrapped up inside here, but I don't really feel like undoing all that stuff. So it's just gonna go down next to it for now. Okay, with the playfield up, this is where we're gonna put the speaker. You can see there's already mounting studs for it, and there's already lock nuts and washers there. So we just have to remove the lock nuts and the washers. Interestingly, you use a 5/16 socket for this one instead of 11/32. So that's a little bit different. This is my 8-inch speaker. I actually pulled it out of a bass guitar amp that I had laying around because, as you may have guessed, I play guitar and I have an excess of amplifiers in the house. So this was easy to salvage, I guess. But I don't know what the impedance is on it, so we're going to test that now. And the way I'm going to do that is I'm going to put my multimeter into resistance or continuity mode, and just going to connect it here, and it says 6.2, so that means this is an 8 ohm speaker. Okay, just like with the back box speakers, I'm going to start by tinning the wires here. Okay, for this part, I'm just going to stick these into the holes here, like so. Some solder on my tip. Same thing on the other side. Just make sure you get the red wire on the positive terminal and the black wire on the negative terminal. Okay, now I just need to drop this guy in. It lines up with the existing studs. And put a washer on. And then the lock nut for each one of the 4 posts. So on the Pro machines, they have ground braid that's actually running to underneath one of the posts on the speaker in here for eliminating or reducing RF interference. So I'm going to do the same thing by connecting a wire to the ground braid over here. So I'm going to cut the length of about that much. I'm going to connect one end of it to this post here. Put the washer over top and the lock nut over that. Okay, I'm going to drill a small pilot hole here, and I've marked my drill bit with a piece of masking tape, so make sure I don't drill it too deep. here-ish. I'm going to sandwich that connector between the screw, the little washer, and the flat washer. Put it into that hole. Between here, I'm just checking to make sure I have continuity between the ground braid and the speaker, and I do. And now I just need to plug in my wiring harness. Make sure red is with red. Tuck that in, keep it out of the way. Alright, we need to go into the settings and make sure that the impedance is set to the correct setting. So we're going to go down to adjustments, and then machine settings, audio configuration. And yeah, mine's set to 8 ohm. If you put a 4 ohm speaker in, then you're going to want to hit the menu key and change it to 4 ohm. Alright guys, one last thing. It's all buttoned up and working. And I wanted to show you that you can adjust the speaker balance here. So we go into the settings. You can hear it booming just when I select something. But if you go to adjustments, machine settings, audio configuration, there is a back box to cabinet speaker balance, and you can adjust that accordingly. So if you want to make the back box softer versus the cabinet speaker, you can do so. That's it. Hope you guys enjoyed this one. Hope you get something out of it. Have fun.